Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Again, we're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our official website, thestephennightshow.com. You can get your merch. I'm feeling the sweatshirt that came in this morning. All right, well, it seems like the struggle for minimum wage workers continues to get worse as news report reveals that very unfortunate reality. According to a new housing report, full-time minimum wage workers are unable to afford rent anywhere in the United States. At least the latest indication that minimum wage increase is long overdue. All right, so CNBC reports that the National Low Income Housing Coalition recently released its annual Out of Reach report, and the findings for minimum wage workers are eye-opening. The report confirmed that full-time minimum wage employees in the U.S. are not financially able to afford a two-bedroom apartment anywhere in this country. The same report also found that 93% of counties in the United States, full-time minimum wage, they can't afford those of one bedroom. Now, those figures were further translated to the average worker needing to work almost 97 hours a week to be able to afford proper housing, which we all know is more than equivalent to having two full-time jobs. And additionally, there's also a disturbing racial element to the housing report, as it stated that Black and Latino employees spend more on rent at 30%, but make far less than their white counterparts, only spend 25% of their income on housing. These new factors are said to have been made worse due to COVID-19 and a lot of people losing their jobs. Are you surprised by this, Lynia?
Absolutely not. Same thing. Same people, same story. It's just all over again. I mean, listen, from a woman who has lived paycheck to paycheck, and me being on my job 8 years, and this year was the first time I got a raise in 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So and making it work. Like, we are so resourceful. Yeah. We make it work with what we have, and we do what we need to do. So I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah. Nayyir, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, something's got to change. That's not a good statistic. Something's got to change, and we got somebody in office who's supposed to be working on these sorts of things. So he needs to get to work a little louder, I guess. That's terrible.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
And Chike, they're talking about think about the single parent that has a bunch of kids and they can't afford a one-bedroom apartment. What are your thoughts on all this?
The first thing that comes to my head is just the way of the world. That's just the way it is. And, there's a saying that has been said to me a couple of times this month. And the saying is, it is what it is. And I can't stand it. I hate it. I hate that saying. But that's pretty much on point. And I will add this to it. It's only going to get worse. And it's going to get worse because I saw a report on the news talking about global warming and how certain areas are going to be flooded. And the rent for places that are above sea level are going to become astronomical, and people won't be able to afford to live inland. So the more you move inland, the rent is going to get higher. So like living on the coast is going to become dirt cheap because eventually all that's going to be underwater. So you're going to see rent and property value rise as we move further in from the coast. And geographically, what's going to happen? Poor people are going to live on the outskirts. I mean, already we're seeing more and more homeless people without a place to live.
Yeah,
it's getting worse, and the government is assisting less. So, I mean, are we going to get to a point where we see children, whole families on the street homeless?
Now you hear something to add? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, is Chike finished?
Yeah, I'm finished.
It makes you think, how many people are in, it's what it is. It's less than 10 billion people in the world, right? 7 billion, something like that. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. 7 billion people in the world, right? And then you have people like Bezos, who's worth what? Hundreds of billions of dollars?
Billions.
Right?
Billions.
And Gates, these guys worth hundreds of billions. These guys literally could put everyone in a home. let alone put everyone in a home. They could liquidate $7 billion and make everyone billionaires, but they could just they could solve all of these issues that we have economically that would actually drive our economy if people were able to disposably use their income in other ways. People are messed up out here, man. And the community that Chike was just talking about, the homeless community, the people who don't have any homes or just living off the fat of the land and benefits. Mm-hmm. It's sad to hear stats like that. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And, that's why that was like some of the pushback from these billionaires going to space. They're like, we have issues here. You know what I mean?
But forget them guys. He got one guy who could take care of it all. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's true. That was the issue.
It's when I went to LA last year and we went during COVID, and I've seen homeless people before, but LA literally has like tenements where this is it seems like it's a lifestyle in LA with people living on the street. Like they are straight set up like this is it.
Right.
Like I came to live like this, like that. That's how it's set up in LA, and people are living like that. I feel like it's like one of those movies. I don't know if it's Beyond the Thunderdome, the whole Mel Gibson, Max, whatever thing, or another movie I'm thinking of, but like how it is in LA, I feel like it's going to get like that in more big cities. Like, it's one, listen, we've all seen it, but LA is like the crew de cry of homeless and how they have it set up.
Yeah, I've seen that too. It's sad. Excuse me. All right. So, NFL player Richard Sherman, he was arrested last week. Apparently his wife called the police on him. He was outside of her parents' house trying to break in. He was apparently under the influence. She told 911 that that dispatch was very rude to her. If you go on our Instagram, listen to this call, she was very rude. But anyway, she called and said he had drunk 2 bottles of liquor, dark and white, which you never mix. And apparently he had wrecked his car and left it. And then, he was banging on the doors, but she said that, he's trying to get in, please come for someone gets hurt, but please don't shoot him. And she said he didn't have any weapons, he didn't have anything like that on him. And so apparently the police got there was a scuffle, but they eventually arrested him. Well, now we're finding out that he was charged with 5 misdemeanors. They charged him with 2nd-degree criminal trespass, domestic violence, resisting arrest, 3rd degree, malicious mischief, domestic violence, driving under the influence, and reckless endangerment of the roadway workers. Now, the next day, his wife ended up releasing a statement saying that wasn't him. That's not how he acts, typically. And if you know anything about him, he has done a lot for NFL with the racial equality and with, just for the community. So a lot of people were shocked by that. But he released a statement. He said, this is what he said in court. I behaved in a manner I'm not proud of. I've been dealing with some personal challenges over the last several months, but this is not an excuse how I acted. The importance of mental and emotional health is extremely real, and I vow to get the help I need. I appreciate all the people who have reached out in support of me and my family, including our community here in Seattle. I'm grateful to have such an amazing wife, family, and support system to lean on during this time. And all this happened at 2:00 in the morning, by the way. Nayyir, do you think he'll overcome this?
Absolutely. This was pretty mild in comparison to other things that are happening out in the world. It was just his time. Sherman's usually pretty, like you said, he does a lot for the community, and he's usually seen in a pretty positive light. I think it's just his time, and it could have been a lot worse. Unfortunately, it still is, not the best public event to have in your life, but I think he definitely will bounce back from this. Definitely.
Neil, what are your thoughts on this?
I think he'll be fine. I saw the video. You never know what somebody's going through.
Yeah.
And you never know what sets people off. So, and that's not excusing anything. We don't know what happened before then. We don't know, what caused that final combustion, because yeah, he was trying to get in that door.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I would pray, that he works through whatever he needs to work through.
Yeah. And Chike, his wife was with him at court. And she said this was out of character for him. What are your thoughts on this? Will he come back from this? And what do you think?
Oh yeah, it's spinnable. I mean, all he has to do is embrace mental wellness after, become a chairman for it.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. Well, hopefully, whatever he's going through, he works it out and their family can be intact. All right, so our last story is kind of funny. So back to the Olympics. They're having a lot of issues. They try to have a lot of protocols in place so that people aren't catching COVID-19. And unfortunately, athletes are starting to catch it, and which has led to a lot of protests asking for it to be canceled. Well, the Olympics has, according to TMZ TV, they have some other protocols in place. A company called Airweave, they have made 18,000 beds inside the Olympic Village, and they're made out of cardboard. They're made out of cardboard, and they have these beds to prevent the athletes from having sex with each other and spreading COVID. And so one athlete, he did take to social media and he jumped on the bed to show how sturdy the bed actually really is. But Lynia, is this gonna stop anyone from having sex?
Stephen, leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't even, how many times have you managed to go ahead and get some nook and you ain't care where it was? Get out of here, Olympics. I'm boycotting anyway.
Chike, will this prevent you?
Not when you can do it standing up. What you need a bed for?
Stand
What you
up
need a
or-
bed for?
I mean,
I'm just saying. One leg in, one leg out. What you need a bed for?
Hands down, round ankles. What?
Pull it to the side.
Nayyir, do you think that this will encourage them to actually have sex because they got these beds with the intention, with the purpose of them not? Do you think it will reverse?
Absolutely. It's the plight of the man. It's the plight of the human. When they say no, we go. We get more creative. We figure out, we get more ambitious. We figure out, we get back to the basics. How we going to make it happen? And that's what the focus is. Actually, they're putting much attention and focus on it now. They should have just let them sneak and do whatever they was going to do, instead of put all this wasted money into these beds that ain't going to be stopping nothing. Who going to go in there and see the bed and say, oh man, they got cardboard beds. We can't do it. You got to go. Who's actually going to, you know what I mean?
Let me say this. You have all these athletes with all of these hormones swirling around. They're competing, right? They're running and they're jumping and they're swinging and they're tumbling and they're swimming. They're doing all these things, building up all of this hormone activity. You mean to tell me that they're not going to sleep with each other, especially when you put the do not do it in front of them? That means do it. Yeah.
And apparently this is a thing at the Olympics. They're known for getting it in.
Yes.
Well, why would they? Like, they're young, they're high energy. Like, all you need is to be sturdy enough to stable yourself and you good. What are you
These people do the impossible. You mean to tell me they can't find a way to have sex?
Exactly.
And their bodies are at their best. That's what
Right.
This is what
Right.
makes you, more attractive and more attracting. Their bodies at their best, at the peak performers. So they're gonna be attractive to each other.
Right. Exactly. Nice try, Olympics. Well, listen, Lynia, Nayyir, thank you as always for Hot Topics. Check out see your movie reviews. And when we come back, we'll interview with our actor Manny Merchants right after this.